Welcome back to the news channel of Nghe An Newspaper and radio and television on YouTube platform. Here, we share and interact about the hottest and newest issues that the public at home and abroad is interested in. And here are some notable contents.
On September 16th, Polish Prime Minister Donalda said that more than 60,000 servicemen were participating in the Iron Defender military exercise in the country. In a televised speech, Prime Minister T said that since the start of the exercise, more than 60,000 servicemen had participated, the majority of whom were Polish soldiers. According to Mr. T, the exercise on September 16th alone at the USA training ground involved 18,000 soldiers from Poland and other NATO countries. He said that our goal is to strengthen our defense capabilities. These exercises are purely defensive in nature. He also noted that this is the first time Poland has deployed the POS missile system as well as the IBCS Integrated Air and Missile Defense Combat Command System. During the exercise, the Polish Armed Forces began the largest military exercise of the year, Iron Defender, on January 1st. According to information from the General Staff of the Polish Armed Forces, more than 600 tons of weapons equipment took part in the exercises on land, at sea, in the air, and in cyberspace. The exercises were held at the U.S. training ranges on the Matic Sea and in Nova D3 in Sapation Province. Poland has implemented a two-stage program to procure the PHOS air defense missile system. The first stage took place in 2018. Accordingly, Poland ordered two PO systems from the U.S. for $4.75 billion and received the systems in December 2022. In September 2023. Sava ordered 6 more complete POS systems from the U.S. After the U.S. State Department approved the deal worth about $15 billion, deliveries will take place between 2026 and 2029. In a notable development, U.S. President Donald Trump has sued the New York Times for $15 billion in defamation and libel.mr. Trump wrote on social media that it is a huge honor to file a $15 billion defamation and libel lawsuit against the New York Times. In the same article, Mr. Trump accused the newspaper of fabricating lies about him, his family, his businesses, and his movement and ideology, such as America First, Make America Great Again. The lawsuit mentions a series of articles in the New York Times, including an editorial ahead of the 2024 presidential election that said Mr. Trump was unqualified to be president, and Penguin's 2024 book, The Lucky Loser: How Donald Trump Squandered His Father's Fortune and Created an Illusion of Success. The lawsuit says they maliciously published articles and books full of distortions and fabrications about President Trump. New Track Time and Penguin have not yet commented. According to Mr. Trump, these publications have seriously damaged his personal reputation and business operations, resulting in significant economic losses and a decline in brand value as well as future financial prospects. Attorney Kwang Trump cited the sharp decline in the stock price of Trump Media and Technology Group TMTG as evidence of the impact of defamation. TMTG shares have been under pressure for months due to concerns about the expiration of a trading lockup period after the company went public in March. The lawsuit was filed just days after Mr. Trump threatened to sue the New York Times for reporting on a sensitive note and drawing he allegedly sent to billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein, a notorious financier and convicted sex offender, committed suicide in a New York jail cell in 2019. Trump has said he cut ties with him before his legal troubles began in 2006. In his second term, Trump has taken a tougher line against the press. Earlier this year, he sued Vogue magazine and Robert MOC's group for at least $10 billion over an article that included his name in a birthday wish for Mr. Stin in 2003. Last July, Parmo Group, the parent company of CBS News, agreed to settle a lawsuit filed by Trump over the program 60 Minutes. Trump accused CBS News of editing an interview with U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris that aired last October to cover up her mixed responses to the conflict in Gaza.
September 16th, U.S. President Donald Trump arrived in London to begin his second official state visit to the United Kingdom. The visit aims to affirm the strength of the transatlantic relationship, despite differences in positions on issues such as Ukraine, the Middle East, and the future of the Western Alliance. This is considered an unprecedented state visit, as Donald Trump is a rare U.S. president to undertake a second high-level trip to the UK during the same term. Prime Minister Camer's office stated that the visit aims to affirm that the UK-US relationship is one of the strongest globally, built on 250 years of history and bound by shared values including belief in the rule of law and open markets. The announcement did not mention new U.S. tariff policies. Trump's trip to London comes as the United Kingdom is grappling with a series of issues of particular concern to Washington. Prominent among them is the recent dismissal of the British ambassador to the U.S., Peter Mandelson. Mandelson was known to have a close relationship with the U.S. president, but this very intimacy became a burden when he was fired for his association with billionaire Jeffrey Epstein. The incident is certainly among Trump's top concerns, especially as the opposition in the U.S. is actively digging into questions about the nature of his relationship with this controversial billionaire. Another challenge comes from London's diplomatic stance. The British government has pledged, along with its G7 allies like France and Canada, to recognize a Palestinian state. The official U.S. view, recently emphasized by Ambassador to Israel Mahoukabi, considers this recognition a disaster and nothing short of a reward for Hamas. In this context, it is not difficult to imagine that the British government will try to avoid Trump mentioning the anti-immigrant marches, which are causing much controversy in the Misty Isle. The real test for the transatlantic relationship will come after all the solemn ceremonies when Trump is scheduled to meet Prime Minister Camer at Chequers on October 18. Stammer will certainly want to direct public attention to a landmark agreement on cooperation in building nuclear reactors, while also hoping to achieve a more favorable tariff regime for British steel exports. However, the prospect of Mandelson's dismissal or the issue of recognizing Palestine becoming a reality remains very fragile. What truly worries the British side is not the feasibility of these scenarios, but the possibility that Trump will openly express his views. This could overshadow the entire diplomatic message that London is trying to build. During his first state visit to the UK, Trump attracted attention even before setting foot in London with an interview in The Sun. At that time, he openly supported Boris Johnson and asserted that Johnson would be an excellent prime minister. Not stopping there, upon arriving in the UK, Trump immediately sparked a war of words on X, then Twitter, with London Mayor Sadiq Khan, who openly opposed the visit. In response to Khan's criticism, the US president did not hesitate to call the mayor a loser. In his first term, President Trump's administration largely consisted of experienced advisors. However, the second term brought a very different look with loyal and absolutely supportive associates. As Trump began to break traditional notions of how to govern the country both domestically and internationally in foreign policy, this demonstrates a willingness to use American power to advance national interests. The White House's public demand for support for the fossil fuel industry and its push for a tougher stance on China both reflect the strategy of the second term, and are likely to be on the agenda during the meeting with Prime Minister Camer. With a president whose foreign policy is unpredictable, Mr. Trump's visit to the UK this time is seen as an unpredictable unknown. Commenting on this special visit by President Donald Trump, expert Olivia Levon at Chat House said that the British government wants this state visit to focus on agreements and partnerships that bring clear benefits to the UK and the British economy. They may try to steer the conversation away from more sensitive topics such as the UK's border issues or the possibility of recognizing a Palestinian state at the UN General Assembly in the coming weeks. However, there are also larger global security issues where the UK desperately needs the US's companionship, especially in maintaining security in Europe. But in some aspects, the two administrations clearly have differences in opinion. To create momentum for the visit, the US and UK on the 16th announced a comprehensive technology agreement worth 31 billion British pounds, equivalent to $42 billion US, opening a new chapter in bilateral cooperation on artificial intelligence, AI, quantum computing, and civil nuclear energy. According to British Prime Minister Camer, the agreement is not only aimed at promoting growth, but can also shape the future of millions of people on both sides of the Atlantic through the development of AI models for healthcare, strengthening quantum computing capabilities, and simplifying civil nuclear projects. The US is currently the UK's largest trading partner, and investment flows from US technology corporations continue to increase sharply. Amidst slowing economic growth, Prime Minister Keir Starmer's government aims to make the UK a leading destination for global technology investments by strategically choosing light AI regulations, a clear difference from the European Union's approach. Officials in this country hope that with support from the soft power of the royal family and commitments to technology investment from the US, The visit will create momentum for a deeper partnership in defense, security, and energy between the UK and the US.